What it do, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Key, and I got that reaction to do. I'ma do it. Now, this one is another one that's definitely going to be interesting to me. Never knew that it was a dark side. I guess like they gonna explore it. Well, every country has a dark side, like a negative and a positive. But this is going to be very interesting to me. This is like one of the first times I would say I'm doing like Korean, as far as in like somebody's going there and talking about them. I did other countries. There's something similar to this. So this one is going to be very, very interesting to me. So I'm not trying to keep y'all for long. Let's get it. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Turn the channel to a full-time channel, not a part-time channel. And enough of me yapping. Let's get to this trapping. Let's get it.
16-hour school days, renting hotel rooms for 1 hour to do your dark deeds, and being forced to do plastic surgery.
Hold on. 16-hour school day? That's like grammar school, high school type stuff. Y'all know like what that is? 16 hours. Let me see. Come on. We got 8-3. 16 hours is crazy work.
Today, we're taking you on a tour through the capital of South Korea to uncover its dark side, revealing some shocking facts that you probably didn't know. We for sure didn't when we moved to Seoul in 2018 for university. Back then, this was the only picture we had of Korea.
A highly advanced, technically proficient, and supremely well-educated nation.
South Korea is making a very, very fast advancement.
Today, when K-pop, K-beauty, and K-dramas dominate the world, it's hard to imagine that the country was impoverished and war-torn just a few decades ago. South Korea has had one of the most miraculous transformations in history, but it turns out it's come with a high price, and young people are paying the most for it. So, let's go to Gangnam for a tour of the dark side of South Korea. But first, we had to see the trendy and glitzy side of Seoul.
We're about to head into the Starfield Mall, which is where the super famous library is. I think we went here in our last Seoul video too, so we won't really.
I would love to go there. I am a book guy. I like reading books. But Jesus Christ.
do too much here, but I just want to show the group because it's such a cool place.
South Korea's cultural soft power around the world has come not least thanks to iconic places like this, and this mall is a testament to modern Seoul's aspirational lifestyle.
There's this Pan Am store here, which is really cool, but
dangerous. I'm gonna try this on because yeah, sometimes the fit is just a bit different because Koreans tend to be like quite wide shouldered and shorter, so the fit is very like, and I'm more like.
We have a lot of ab geeks in the group, so this is like the one store that everyone was like, oh my god, we have to come here. This is such a smart thing, or just like an example of how smart the solutions are in South Korea and this region in general. Like at the entrance of the store, they have this where you can place your drinks. A lot of the stores will often tell you like you can't drink in here, but like
Yeah, I do feel as if like other countries are so different when it comes to that. I remember I was doing like a reaction to I forgot what country that was. And it was something similar to this. It was like one with like they hold your umbrella for you when you leave. Like I know with some stores over here they do have bag checks when you go in. You got to give them your bag, but that's for like people like stealing and stuff like that. But this is very interesting. Like you got somewhere where I can actually put my cup so your things won't get dirty. But it's like for the idea for you to have this is like
in most places
crazy.
It's like, okay, but then what do I do with the drink? This is so genius. Like it's such a simple solution that makes life so much easier, and it actually helps the store.
Is there anything
so it's like a
else that's like that
no-brainer, really.
over there?
So along with just seeing the Starfield Library, the real reason that we're here in Gangnam is because we're doing a really interesting tour. It's a tour we did ourselves like 5 years ago. This young guy who does the tour, it's really interesting. It's about like the dark side of Korean youth in the modern age, I think is the title of it. And we just remember it being such an insightful tour, so we really wanted to share that with the group.
So today we're doing a lot of information dumping.
Yeah, and a lot of like heavier topics. which is this is our last day, so maybe like, I don't know. It's all been building up to this, I guess.
We're Oscar and Dan. Over the past decade, we've explored more than 100 countries together while traveling mostly full-time, and now we wanted to share the fun by leading a group trip to Seoul, a city we briefly called home during university. This means that we got to do this fascinating tour alongside these 15 awesome people.
I would love, like, this is like where I'm trying to lead this reaction channel to. I'm starting here by sitting here looking at other cultures, but once like this channel get up there, I'm making the resources to where I can go and travel, actually do my own videos of being in these places. Like, it's gonna be mind blowing, and it's gonna be thanks to y'all for y'all supporting me, y'all subbing to me, liking. Don't ask for money, so it's like that's all I do is ask for is subs and likes and views. That's it, so I could get to like where they at and like do way more other countries. Cause I got another like if this is your first time seeing me, I have another channel where I do music reactions to all cultures around the world. Don't matter where it's at. American, which I am American. I got an American, Jamaican, Sweden, UK, Russia, Korea, China. Like, I do it all. So I just can't wait to travel and take it from the music as well as take it like from this point of view as well. Like showing people, all right, well, this is what it's like being like this in America, doing interviews with people on the street, speaking the language as well. I'm trying to grow this channel. So all I ask y'all to do is like, share, comment, and subscribe. But anyway.
Hey, sexy lady. Oppa Gangnam Style. Okay, nice. Very nice.
Although this tour was on our last full day in Korea, this will be far from our last video from the group trip, as we have much more to share, from meeting a North Korean defector and visiting an unknown part of the Korean DMZ. Something you really don't want to miss, but more on that at the end of the video. For now, let's meet our friend June and get started.
Full on tourist mode now. We're CIA.
Dan already broke his.
You broke yours?
June began by asking how much we thought stores on Gangnam's main street have to pay in rent.
Let's get $30.
$25,000.
$25,000 with us right now. If you guys want to rent a shop over here, $100,000 per this. Right. So even for the big companies, they don't make money out of here.
Much of South Korea's economic growth came thanks to a small set of giant family-owned companies called chaebols, often wielding so much power that they alone could sway national politics and development plans.
Like Samsung, LG,
So it's just like America.
Hyundai, for example. If they develop subsidiaries first, the rest of the others could catch up. But as the result, rest of the other areas would have never. So these days, for young people, even if you don't like city systems, we have no choices, because outside of the city, there's no jobs, no infrastructures, no medicals, like nothing at all. So that's why about 92% of our populations are in the city right now. Last year, our average price for an apartment flat in Seoul was $1 million. And for video wages, it's about $2,000. So you're not sure if you work for either one, you can get your house or not.
With such high barriers to entry on the housing market,
Jesus.
it's understandably difficult for young South
Like New
Koreans to
York.
move out and to conduct their unholy affairs.
Jersey.
When Korean cities, they recognize more as motels. In Western culture, motel is kind of typical with dirty rooms, right? It's always the place where this murder happens. But in Korea, it's not like that.
So a lot of Koreans make between $2,000 and $3,000 a month. An apartment, the average apartment in Seoul costs about $1 million. So the idea for most young Koreans that they'll be able to buy an apartment just is not realistic
You have
anymore,
to roommate.
unfortunately. And that means also that a lot of people are living at home. It's also expensive to rent. So people stay with their parents until they get married, they have dual salaries, and maybe they can afford to move out. So what happens then? Well, if you want to meet up with your love interest or your lover or whatever you want to call it, you can't do that at home when you're living with your parents here. So there's a huge market for these so-called motels or boutique hotels where you rent a room for a block of a few hours. They have different themes, and then you'll be undisturbed.
The one
In Jersey, it's something that's called like the loop. That's what that is.
we say motels here, it has more meanings of love hotels, where you make your love with your lovers having sex exactly. So, this housing is very expensive here. There are a lot of space for businesses going around it. Yeah. And this motel industry is one of the biggest industries for that.
With a lot of food for thought about housing, income, and love life, we continue onwards to a building housing one of Korea's largest private education institutions. Why, you might ask?
So our amazing guy June just told us about the insane, well, yeah, and it is pretty insane education system. And I remember this as like the kind of most shocking and standout thing that we learned about last time when we did the tour.
After South Korea was founded, everything was destroyed here. Just to develop this society, the government was huge for the education. And still, a lot of Koreans believe education is essential for the country.
Just going to public school or like normal school is not enough here. So after school, there's after school, which is a thing in many Asian countries, but it's just kind of like insane the lengths to which it goes. So all these private after-school schools called hakwons teach mainly like the Korean SATs that you need to perform really well and to get into the good universities, because the number one thing is like the title of the university you went to, not really like what major you studied. That doesn't really matter as much.
We don't pretty much care, even if you majored in history. Koreans more prefer the title of the university.
Everyone is just trying to get into these three schools, primarily the Sky universities, coming from Seoul National University, Korean University, and Yonsei University, the initials from those. So everyone pretty much from a really, really young age goes to school from 9 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. at night and gets up really early in the morning again. I mean, you have to do your homework too before going to school.
But 9 a.m. So if you don't go to like this after school thing, what time you usually get off? Like regular time?
Next day. But the most shocking thing about that is that the only reason that the hakwons actually stop teaching at 10 p.m. is because it's been regulated.
There were some Korean parents putting their kids in hagwons until 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. Then they're gonna come home at 3, sleep at 4, wake up at 7, and go to school. So the government said that's too much. All the lectures
Especially for a
must have
kid.
their
What your
lectures
rest gonna
at
be?
10 p.m. So that is why we have this fixed schedule.
Obviously, like no parents really want to send their kids through this because it's pretty much hell, right? But everyone just kind of feels pressure to do it because if everyone else is doing it, you kind of have to keep up, right? And everyone believes that education is the most important cornerstone in the future of their kid's life.
Given that the large Korean chaebols like LG and Samsung have so much power and are the most attractive places for South Koreans to have a career, the ultimate goal is to get a job at one of the annual hiring fairs that these companies run, where they typically only hire fresh graduates, preferably from one of the top universities. This effectively means that young Koreans not only have one single path to follow to reach the ultimate desired lifestyle, they also only get one chance to make that dream come true. So what happens when everyone has been following the same path, done the same after-school studies, and has no real way to distinguish themselves?
So in Korea, plastic surgery is actually not a big issue, but everyone goes to school, everyone's studying the same thing. Diversities are gone. So for Koreans, they're not actually quite curious about how other Koreans live because they know they all live the same.
Imagine it for yourself. You're applying for a job, and everyone in the pool of applicants has practically the same background as you, and might have even gone to the same school as you. The only thing standing between you and that job is the interview. And what is the one way you can make yourself stand out in that interview? That's right, your looks.
One of the effective ways to differentiate yourself from the others is this. What kind of looks you have? We can find typical beauty standard of deep eyes, looking young as possible, high sharp noses, small face, and for K-pop, singing is not a big deal here. What more matters is how you look in form on stage and how you perform well.
We made it to shit.
That's crazy. Like when it comes to music, it's just more so like about how you perform and dance and stuff like that. More like getting a lot of people together. But like when it comes to like how he said like the like the jobs with Samsung and stuff like that, this is where how like a look to get you hired. It's kind of weird. Am I correct with that? And it's like, does it like is it a part to where it's like it's about who you know? Because I think in America, 'cause I can only speak for like here, certain other countries, it's always really about who you know that could get you where you kind of gotta be or get you into a job. Sometimes by luck, you put in an application, you know what I mean? You get called and you get the opportunity. Most of the time is like the speed up that process is all about who you know that could get you there, no matter how you look. You know what I mean? That person still can help you get your foot in the door, but you have to be the one to stay there and like go up to make more money.
Which is one of the centers for plastic surgery. And there's this clinic right behind me, which specializes in liposuction to do all things fat reduction. And they have a mascot called Fatty.
Hi, Fatty.
And he decorates every single floor. So let's just say that fat acceptance has a bit of a ways to go in Korea.
It turns out even South Korea's not-so-friendly neighbor up north has received word of the country's problems. During our time in Seoul, North Korea was on a spree sending hundreds of trash balloons into the south with propaganda flyers. And by coincidence, we happened to find one at the end of our tour.
You're living in the hell. Rather immigrate.
Rather than
And saying like, oh, Koreans suicide every year like 13,000 people. So who is the killer?
We should mention here that North Korea's problems make South Korea's issues seem minuscule, but for a rich and relatively mature
Definitely
economic
always wanted to know what was the difference. If y'all could explain that down to me in the comments, like what is the difference between the South and the North? What he meant by like that comment he just said.
cultural powerhouse, the extent of these problems ranges much wider than what we've had time to cover in this video. From the world's lowest birth rate at just 0.78 births per woman, leading to a rapidly aging and soon-to-be declining population, to a lack of diversification and an over-reliance on
Everything
the
is so
country's largest
expensive.
companies.
Enough.
This is also a good time to say that we love South Korea. It's a country we've visited half a dozen times and one we always look forward to coming back to. But this tour about the country's dark side, which we've done twice now, has really stuck with
wanna
us,
see the
and it's
first
something
one. I
that we
don't
wish
see it.
was more easily accessible to travelers in more countries around the world. Travel isn't just about discovering the beautiful or polished parts of a place, but also looking for its rough patches. This is something we've always tried to be conscious of, from exploring the favelas of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, or Africa's largest slum in Nairobi, Kenya, to going to the West Bank to learn about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict from both sides, or exploring the haunting history of Hiroshima. We believe you can fall in love with a place when you embrace its complexity, flaws and all, because at the end of the day, you would never trust a person who only showed their good sides and concealed their imperfections to try to convince you of their flawlessness. Anyway, those are some final thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and if you're into this kind of educational and thought-provoking content, we're linking a playlist here with some of our most insightful travel experiences from over the years. Stay tuned for the next video from our group trip where we got really close to South Korea's northern neighbor in an unknown area of the DMZ and had a rare meeting with a North Korean defector who escaped the country at just 14 years old. Until then, see you around the world.
Definitely interested. Definitely y'all go follow this channel right here. As y'all can see, like the work I did. This is the first time I'm actually watching this, and I mean never did this before. So shout out to this actual channel right here for giving us the sight of both sides, the good and the bad, positive and the negative. This is something similar, like I said before, I will want to do. So I'm definitely bringing stuff like this more to this actual channel. Very, very interesting. Can't wait. Love things like this, how you can actually see the negative. The thing that got me to where I feel as if like is like the ending problem is like the pay of how so much expensive things are that's over there. I ain't know it was like that. I feel like especially when it comes to like the youth, like the young, like I want to know why can't they build out further? Is it because of like the hills and the mountains and stuff like that? But like when it comes to like the youth, I say like the youth as far as in like kids that probably don't go to college or something like that, how they really don't have much. They have to go to these 3 colleges just to get a job here. You know how many probably very intelligent people that didn't even go to college because probably the money or the circumstances of something happening or something like that. And it's like they blocking so much to where they could do, but that's just like one part of it. How about the other part of it's because how somebody look, you're not gonna hire them, but they could really bring so much to a company and stuff like that. But getting back to the money, I feel as if like sometimes when you are probably in the house, just like how you said, like you got a boyfriend or girlfriend, like you got to go to a hotel. I can't really bring them in the house. Certain parents may be like, I don't want them in the house. Like, think about that part. But another part is like being just around your parents or being around somebody like what they call them guardians and stuff like that. Sometimes like they stress and be hold on you to where it's like it blocks you from creating to where you gotta get to. But that's very interesting though, man. This reaction is definitely interesting though. But if y'all want me to do any other reaction from them or somewhere else or from y'all, all y'all gotta do is just put those things down in the comments, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Turn the channel to a full-time channel, not a part-time channel. Hopefully this channel does get big enough and I make a lot of income to where it's like I could travel and be there as well and show y'all from my point of view. Cause I mean, it's gonna hit different with me. But anyway though, man, I catch you on the next reaction. Peace.